incredible. The Ukrainian armed forces have broken through the front. This has never happened before. The forward positions are cracking like never before. And are the enemies burning? It's hell for the enemy. Moscow is in panic and calling for outsiders. The occupiers have lost everything: armor, aircraft, special forces, and even their allies. Russian oil depots are burning and elite units have been destroyed. A complete rout of the enemy. With surgical precision and the force of a storm, the Russian leadership can't cope, while the Ukrainian armed forces control the initiative. Victory is near. Get all the details right now. Hello, this is Ukraine Today. I'm Solomia Dolik, and these are the latest events. The Ukrainian armed forces are turning up the heat again in Donetsk region. Ukrainian soldiers have successfully pushed back Russian troops near Novo, Shakhove, and Kucheryv Yar. This was reported by Deep State. The Dobropillia direction is under our control. The enemy is attacking, but without success. No advances for the occupiers, only losses.
Ukraine's defense forces have pushed the enemy back near Novo, Shakhove, and Kucheryv Yar.
And that's not all. Another fiery reception for the occupiers again in Donetsk region. National Guardsmen, paratroopers, air assault forces, artillery, and the UAV units of the armed forces of Ukraine crushed the enemy's armored attack on Shakhove and Volodymyrivka. The Dobropillia direction is holding strong. 9 enemy armored vehicles were destroyed and another 4 were turned into scrap metal. The Russians failed to break through again. They met hell on Ukrainian soil. Let's take a look at how it happened. This is a comprehensive report from Suspilne, bringing you the most recent and critically important updates concerning the ongoing situation. We have received verified and confirmed information indicating that the armed forces of Ukraine are demonstrating an extraordinary level of resilience, strategic prowess, and unwavering determination. Their current operational status extends far beyond merely maintaining their established defensive lines or static positions. Instead, they are actively engaged in a series of dynamic maneuvers, implementing highly advanced tactical approaches and consistently demonstrating their profound and unwavering commitment to the defense of their nation and its sovereignty. This implies a distinctly proactive stance, where their efforts are focused not only on effectively repelling aggressors, but also on executing meticulously well-planned operations that contribute significantly to the overall strategic objectives of the conflict. Their actions reflect a comprehensive and highly adaptive military strategy, showcasing their remarkable ability to respond effectively and decisively to the continuously evolving circumstances on the ground. The reports highlight their continuous and persistent efforts to secure and advance their national interests, underscoring a level of operational engagement that goes well beyond passive defense. This ongoing commitment to active engagement, strategic initiative, and persistent dedication is a powerful testament to their profound effectiveness and unwavering resolve in the current conflict, ensuring the protection and integrity of their homeland. They are advancing and reclaiming every inch of Ukrainian land. In the Zaporizhzhia region, our troops are making significant progress, pushing the enemy back, while in the Sumy region, the occupiers are feeling increasing pressure and are forced to retreat. The armed forces of Ukraine are one step ahead.
The Kremlin's plans to seize important areas and settlements are not being fulfilled, and as a result, they are constantly being revised and postponed.
According to Syrskyi, this means that the enemy is losing its strategic initiative. Its offensive campaigns are failing, and Ukrainian defenders are not only holding the line, but also launching counterattacks, inflicting serious losses on the occupiers. Russian air defense in temporarily occupied Crimea managed to hit their own forces. They were repelling Ukrainian attacks so vigorously that in the end, they only managed to shoot down their own aircraft. Let's take a look at this unique operation.
Today something caught fire there again, but in a different location. They were repelling Ukrainian attacks so fiercely that today over Crimea, they ended up shooting down their own aircraft. Right now, the details are being collected on the territory of Crimea. As for the public pages, yes, I think that after our broadcast with you, this news will appear there, specifically referring to this stage.
According to him, information about the details of the shootdown is still being gathered. He also reported that despite the enemy's active resistance, our strikes hit their targets. The spokesperson for the Ministry of Internal Affairs of the Armed Forces of Ukraine added that after the night strikes on the temporarily occupied peninsula, a fire broke out at another Russian oil depot. Explosions and columns of smoke. There are blasts in Crimea. In the temporarily occupied Vardiska, there are explosions, fires, and thick smoke on the horizon. On the night of October 17th, drones struck an oil depot belonging to the largest gas station network in Crimea. There, a powerful blaze and a black column of smoke could be seen for dozens of kilometers. It is likely that an ammunition depot or an airfield was also hit. In the sky above the settlement, there are two fire sources, whether it's the armed forces of Ukraine or Bavovna. However, the undeniable fact remains the enemy is currently burning on their very own territory. -1 enemy elite, Ukrainian soldiers destroyed the Russian Special Forces group Sinish, which had been terrorizing the border areas of Kharkiv, Sumy, and Chernihiv regions. 6 invaders were eliminated, including the group commander. Another 8 were wounded. The terrorist raids ended fatally. The armed forces of Ukraine operate precisely and mercilessly. The sky sentinels of the troikas do not sleep. Ukrainian air defense from the 3rd Army Corps hunts enemy drones around the clock. Day and night, they destroy Orlans, Zala, Lancets, and Shaheds. Even before they have a chance to strike, cold precision, instant reaction, and the enemy falls from the sky. This is not a blockbuster movie. This is the daily work of our defenders on the front line. The skies do not belong to the enemy. Ukrainians rule both on the ground and in the sky. The Russians can no longer cope and are calling on North Korea for help. In the Sumy region, it has been recorded that North Korean UAV operators are adjusting strikes on the positions of the armed forces of Ukraine. This was reported by the General Staff. Communications between Korean mercenaries and Russian military personnel have been established. The enemy is trying to plug holes with other people's hands.
Due to critical losses of personnel and the failure of the offensive operation in the Sumy region, the leadership of the Russian invaders is involving units from North Korea.
The world needs to see this. Moscow is dragging anyone it can to the front, but it won't help. Ukraine is recording everything. Urgent! The situation at the front is escalating. The armed forces of Ukraine have moved to a stage of harsh retribution. The occupiers are suffering colossal losses. The Ukrainian forces' counteroffensive is sweeping away the enemy's defenses and opening a direct path to Crimea. The latest missiles are hitting their targets directly. Enemy warehouses, headquarters, and equipment are being destroyed with no chance of survival. Russian troops are in panic and the front is cracking like never before. All the details are coming up in the video.
The consequences of the war unleashed by Russia are starting to come back to its own territory, in the form of Ukrainian drones and long-range missiles. The General Staff suggests that after Belgorod, Muscovites themselves might soon experience what a blackout is like.
On the right, there are 10, 12, 14. Darkness. To the left, Udyanova. Darkness. Clip of Udyanova, Yesenina with the intersection. Here, this is a visual clip.
Meanwhile, 2 more Russian regions, Tyumen and Sverdlovsk Oblast, have introduced restrictions on gasoline sales, no more than 30 liters per person. Previously, this new regulation affected the Khabarovsk Krai, Chelyabinsk Oblast, and the occupied Crimea. All these lines and empty gas stations are due to daily attacks on oil refineries. Commander-in-Chief Syrskyi stated that in September, under the Deep Strike program, there were reports of 70 hits on Russian territory.
We are destroying the production of fuel and lubricants, explosives, and other components of the Russian military-industrial complex in the aggressor country. In particular, oil refining in Russia has been reduced by 21%.
The intensification and expansion of Ukraine's so-called long-range strikes on Russian territory became one of the main topics at the president's meeting with the security bloc.
Ukrainian long-range weaponry is becoming noticeably more advanced. We are constantly working towards this. And we have already provided many different opportunities specifically for production. The necessary finances, all the required support. We also need to significantly scale up their use. We have clear plans regarding this. Everything should be implemented in the coming months. Ukrainian precision is already visible, and there should be even more of it. It is absolutely fair that Ukraine is carrying out retaliatory strikes, targeted strikes. And unlike Russia, we know what we want to achieve. Absolutely.
At the moment, the carriers of strikes deep into Russian territory are the Flamingo and Neptune missiles. The company Firepoint announced the launch of production of the first ones at the end of the summer. At that time, a video of the Flamingo launch appeared online. In the fall, analysts suggested the truth, that they could have been launched at the territory of occupied Crimea. The publication Welt stated that it was Flamingo missiles that destroyed the FSB base on the peninsula. 3 missiles left craters with a diameter of 15 meters each.
It burned.
At that time, German journalists also reported that 50 missiles roll off the assembly line each month, with plans to increase to 200 per month. And then the Russians showed what they claimed were fragments of a downed Flamingo missile. According to their information, it was hit on Russian territory by a Buk system at an altitude of 100 meters and a speed of 600 kilometers per hour. Judging by the factory number, the occupiers assume this is the 106th munition produced in September. There is no reliable confirmation that the Flamingo destroyed the FSB base. Military analysts believe that other strikes were also involved. And not only these could have been carried out by Neptune itself. Today, 3 modifications of it have already been tested and put into serial production in the Ukrainian defense industry. A 4th is in preparation.
And right now it's undergoing tests. This is the long-range Neptune, the one that can reach over 1,000 kilometers. It's currently undergoing extensive testing, and so far we can confidently say that the initial results have been overwhelmingly positive. It continues to undergo rigorous and thorough testing procedures. The very next crucial step, which will be implemented in parallel, is to officially launch its full-scale serial production. I believe this is a series of Neptunes. First of all, this significantly makes the country quite capable and remarkably powerful. It clearly reveals our true combat potential and strategic capabilities, because not every single country in the entire world possesses advanced cruise missiles, and in the foreseeable future, these sophisticated cruise missiles will be both sea-based and land-based, and let's say of various operational ranges and diverse types.
For obvious reasons, Ukrainian weapons manufacturers do not disclose much about strikes against the aggressor. But President Zelensky admitted to the press that the defense forces even combine them. And analysts acknowledge that this is a successful practice, one that Ukrainians can adopt from their enemy.
This missile is most likely more mass-produced, but as a result, it may be cheaper than a high-tech missile like the Neptune missile. And here, there are a whole range of combinations. Again, the Neptune missile being significantly less detectable and considerably more accurate can be effectively used, so to speak, to meticulously clear a vital corridor, or conversely, a series of Flamingo missiles can be strategically employed, which are very noticeably present and quite inexpensive, serving as highly effective decoys to draw the enemy's air defense forces significantly away from their intended targets. At the same time, the Neptune missile will be passing through, and the less detectable, more accurate missile will enter and deliver a targeted strike.
The Ukrainian defense industry is no longer what it was at the beginning of the full-scale Russian aggression. The country's military and political leadership has finally realized that only local manufacturers can guarantee stable arms supplies to the front. However, this is only possible with proper funding. But with each passing day, as the skies fill with more and more unknown drones, Europeans and Scandinavian countries are becoming increasingly interested not only in Ukraine's experience, but also in cooperating with Ukraine in the production of weapons that meet the realities of modern warfare.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
A complete rout. Putin's army is falling apart at the seams, and this can no longer be hidden. Ukrainian forces strike with precision and ruthlessness. Where a Russian battalion stood just yesterday, today there is only smoke and ashes. Commanders are fleeing, soldiers are surrendering, and Russian pride is turning into scrap metal. In the Kremlin, they just shrug and prepare a new batch of volunteers for hellish assaults. What fate awaits them on Ukrainian soil? Find out more about this next. Don't miss it. Only
From September 19th to October 3rd, the Russian army lost more than 1,000
people in the war in Ukraine.
Russia's losses are horrific. The economy is bursting at the seams, but Putin is ready to make even greater sacrifices. Now, even businesses are being harshly required to help with recruiting people for the front.
Now, the issue for the deputies is that
there are absolutely no people present. They fully know and understand that other people simply do not comprehend their situation, and that absolutely no one else will ever truly take their significant place or position.
Independent journalists using open sources have identified the names of 134,125 Russian soldiers who have died during the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. This data allows us to track a kind of pulse of the war, when the Kremlin showed no mercy to its own people and sent them into meat grinder assaults for the sake of capturing yet another village in Ukraine.
Our command makes inadequate decisions and sends us to certain death. There are just so many different kinds of drones there, FPVs, Baba Yaga. They're hitting us with everything they've got. Mortars, artillery, everything.
And so now we have...
And there's no cover at all. They're just sending us out into the open, and now the guys are digging their own graves.
In the first year and a half, the casualty chart looked like a roller coaster. That was when Russian forces were storming Bakhmut and Avdiivka.
Don't fortify. The enemies will outlast everyone. It will anger the angel of peace. The enemies are terrifying and horrible. Your back itches, your heart is preserved, and you relax.
At that time, the Russian Ministry of Defense, still headed by Shoigu, was burying 100 to 150 people a day. Sometimes the numbers dropped to 50 to 60 killed per day.
Roughly speaking, they're just throwing people to be killed. There was no clarity about anything. And who is there left to replenish with? There are no people left, they're running out, only the last bit of strength remains.
Since October 2023, the curve has remained consistently high. It drops below 120 only in rare cases. And the recent drops on the charts are explained not by the rescue of Russian troops, but by the time needed to verify and process new obituaries.
Our guys went through hell in captivity, numerous tortures and crimes. Most have shrapnel wounds and concussions, fractures that healed without any medical intervention.
In terms of the geography of their citizens killed in the war, Bashkortostan and Tatarstan are in the lead. Here, local volunteers help identify the dead.
This is our city, Moscow. In 15 years of war in Afghanistan, there were 3 or 4 killed. Well, just look at what's happening right now, at this very moment. Everything, and I mean absolutely everything, is just completely covered in flags all over the place.
A special category is the volunteers, those who signed a contract back in 2022. Right now, they make up almost a third of all identified casualties. They are 29%.
You see, that's just one particular side of it. That's all happening within a single year, 2 years. Now new burials have started.
The Kremlin is disposing of those who went to war on their own, who fell for the propaganda. Prisoners make up the second largest category of losses. That's 14%. Some of the dead are officially recorded as volunteers, not as convicts.
Today, in the embattled region of Donbass, those individuals who are currently in places of confinement and who deeply love their homeland now have a truly significant and valuable chance to unequivocally prove their unwavering loyalty by actively signing a local defense contract.
Mobilized soldiers make up 11% of the list. This figure is understated because obituaries often conceal the status.
What the hell are you doing there? You're like a disgrace to your families. Anyone who doesn't go out there, I'll send a special group to take them out, those bastards who are holed up there. Shoot a couple of the 500ers. Just shoot them right there.
One important category of losses is Russian officers who knowingly went to kill Ukrainians for the sake of medals on their chests. Journalists have counted 5,847 dead. And these are with verified names, including 150 colonels and as many as 12 generals.
Once upon a time, we all lived, not here, rejoiced, grieved, and then suddenly, bang. And the brave guys went off to tragically die.
For the Russian army, this is a painful blow because their entire system relies precisely on officers. They coordinate the interaction of different units and accordingly give criminal orders for strikes on Ukraine. So what are the real numbers? It was our Putin who got us into this war in the first place. How many people
have just died?
At some point we need to focus on the economy. What can be seen from open sources covers only 45 to 65% of the actual losses. So the list of 134,000 is just the tip of the iceberg that Putin is desperately trying to hide. Currently, Ukraine estimates Russia's losses at over 1,100,000. This number includes both the wounded and the missing. Even the so-called occupied LDNR stopped publishing data on their losses since December 2022. In fact, according to statements by the BBC and Mediazone, the number could be more than 300,000 Russian soldiers killed. And that's not counting the bodies that still remain on the battlefield. The number is truly enormous.
The vibrant flags are proudly hanging. There are a truly significant number of them, really. It is anticipated that there will be a truly immense number of casualties, my friends, a devastating loss of life. It seems to me that by the time we learn the whole truth about their numbers, the entire country will already be dreaming.
The Russian army, which has already lost hundreds of thousands of people, continues to fight. So-called volunteers and convicts are making up for the shortage of personnel. Officers are dying faster than they can be trained. And now death statistics have become the main indicator of success for the world's second army.
How do you assess the courage and resilience of Ukrainian soldiers on the front line? Share your thoughts in the comments. Like this video and stay with us so you don't miss the most important updates. Even more important things are ahead. See you in the next episode.